Why, hello there. We made it to Tuesday, November the 30th. I'm just kind of curious. Yes, it's the last day of the month. We made it down the month. One more month closer to midterms elections. One more month until the next presidential election. Hopefully, we can get rid of Joe Biden. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. But it might be related to that. Who knows? But Twitter's new rule makes little sense. And what I mean it makes little sense is unless they actually break it down and give us examples, what's definitely not allowed and what is allowed and what's kind of in the gray area, it'll never make sense. And in my interpretation, it just means that they give you, or there's another excuse to ban you, or gives you another rule to break, or that they can say that you broke. And to be completely honest with you, I've only gotten maybe one suspension slash ban, and that was when Harris, our wonderful, wonderful, underqualified vice president, was picked as the nominee, or not nominee, but picked as VP. I did kind of spam a couple of people. What I mean by a couple of people, maybe about 20 or 30 people, with the video clip of Tulsi Gabbard destroying her presidential campaign. Apparently, Twitter frowns on that. But, live and learn. Live and learn. But according to this thread, beginning today, we will not allow the sharing of private media, such as images or videos of private individuals, without their consent. Publishing people's private info is also prohibited under this policy, which was kind of already under the policy, as it's threatening or incentivizing others to do so. Let's see here. Let's unpack what this means. The policy will update to help curb the misuse media to harass, intimidate, or reveal the identities of private individuals which are disproportionately impacted women, activists, dissidents. I'm not sure what dissidents is, but oh well. And members of the minority communities, even though the minority communities kind of make the majority of people complaining. I'm just pointing that out there. Anyways, images and videos that show people participating in public events like large scale protests, sporting events, etc., would generally not violate this policy. For more on what it's not in violation, read the full policy here. I don't know if I already have that open, but this was actually a lot more information that they provided than this morning. So we'll see if maybe the same. Who knows? We'll find out. To be clear, we require a first-person report, or we require a first-person report of the photo or video in question, or from a authoritative representative, aka the Legacy News. After we receive a report, that particular media will be reviewed before any enforcement action is taken. Context matter. Actually, I don't want that person there, but anyways, context matter. Our existing private information policy includes many exceptions in order to enable a robust reporting on newsworthy events that the conversations that are in public interest. We will take into consideration whether the image is publicly available and or being covered by journalists. It doesn't matter if you're going to be considered. See, this is the part that I hate. Why do journalists get the out? Why can't we hold the journalists to the same standards? Or a particular image accompany the tweet, text adds value to the public discourse, is being shared in the public interest, or is relevant to the community. You can interpret that in many different ways. One is if we don't agree with the message, we're going to ban you or ask you to remove the message or remove the image. But why do journalists? Why does the news get a pass? let's see here. November. Yeah, I guess they're different. So it pretty much kind of goes as a part of our ongoing effort to build tools with privacy and security at the core. We're updating our existing privacy information policy and expand the scope to include private media under our existing policy. Publishing other people's private information, such as phone numbers, addresses, and IDs, is not already allowed on Twitter. This includes threatening to expose private information or incentivizing others to do so. That means I cannot say, I want you to find person's X information so we could dox them. That is me incentivizing you to go look for person X, and hopefully person X does not exist because I am not asking it for legal reasons. Let's see here, there's growing concerns about the misuse of media and information that is not available elsewhere online as tools to harass, intimidate, and reveal identities of individuals sharing personal media. As such, images or videos can potentially violate a person's privacy and may lead to emotional or physical harm. The misuse of private media can affect everyone, but can disproportionately affect on I'm calling BS on this one on women, activists, descendants, and members of minority communities. No, I think we're all affected, and I don't think it's a disproportionate. I don't think there's one being affected more than the other. Kind of a rule of example: if you're being a dumbass, you should be called out being a dumbass. If you just happen to fit one of these, so be it. Don't be a dumbass. When we receive a report that a tweet contains unauthorized private media, we will now take an action in line with our range of enforcement options. While existing policies and Twitter rules cover explicit instances of abusive behavior, this update will allow us to take actions on the media that is shared without any explicit abuse content, provided that it is posted without the consent of the person depicted. This is a part of our ongoing work to align our safety policy with human rights standards and will enforce globally starting today. Of course, what's in violation of the policy? Under our private information policy, you cannot share the following types of private information or media without the permission of the person who it belongs to: home addresses or physical location information, including street addresses, GPS coordinates, or other identifying information related to the locations that are considered private. That means I cannot go into your house to take a picture of you and say, you live on 123 Sesame Street, because that's considered kind of doxing. Or if do the coordinates wherever Sesame Street is. I agree with that, to be honest. Identifying documents, including government issue IDs and Social Security or other national identity numbers, that we may make a limited exception in regions where this information is not considered to be private. No, I'm going to have to disagree with the last part. I think anything that shows your picture, a number, and that actually shows your address, or anything that can be used to harm you, should be considered private. I mean, I'm working for a major computer company. I've taken this course many times because every year I have to retake it, where it kind of goes with the different. You got your IP, which is intellectual property. You got your private information / personal information, and there's one other one. And they make a good deal if you're going to ask for personal information, such as identification, medical history, or whatever. We can only keep that for so long, and it must be discarded in a safe way. I don't know. It kind of goes with that one. Contact information, including non-public personal phone numbers or email address. I agree with that. Financial account information, including bank account and credit card details. I agree with that. and other private information, including biometric data and medical records. And I agree with that. Nude, media of private individuals without the permission of that person depicted. Now, they kind of answer this question. So, if we're out in a group and I take a picture, let's say, as this one question was on Twitter, is I'm at Disneyland or Disney World and I take a picture of my family and I got this person in the background that I happen to get into the shot and I really can't crop them out because this means I'm going to crop out a family member. The question is, do I have to ask that person's permission even though I don't know how to get in touch with them? I think they pretty much generally answer that as it's okay to post, which is a very nitpick question and is a very legit question. And I'm glad that Twitter has kind of made that clear without really making it clear. The following behavior is also not permitted. Threatening to publicly expose someone's private information, sharing information that would enable individuals to hack or gain access to someone's private information without their consent, i.g., sharing sign-in credentials for online banking services, asking for or offering a bounty or financial reward in exchange for posting someone's private information, asking for a bounty or financial reward in exchange for not posting someone's private information, sometimes referred to as blackmail. No, that's the textbook definition of blackmail, and is also a crime. It's either a state crime or a federal crime, and could possibly be both. When private information or media has been shared on Twitter, we need a first-person report or a report from an authorized representative in order to make the determination that the images or video has been shared without their permission. Learn more about the reporting on Twitter. This is kind of where I kind of disagree with. If there was a picture showing someone's address and it's clearly not that person, I think anybody should be able to report on that. But I think this is more of someone takes a picture of me and I don't know that they posted it. That might be where it's coming from. I don't know. It's very, I don't know. It's very interesting. However, the purpose of the dissemination of private images or of public figures or individuals who are part of the public conversation is to harass, intimidate, or use fear to silence them. We may remove the content in line with our policy against abusive behavior. Similarly, private nude images of public individuals will continue to be action under the non-consensual nudity policy. I can't agree with that. But what if it's in Playboy? What if it's on their website? Well, I guess that's more of a copyright issue. Anyways, continue on. We recognize that there's instances where the account holders may share images or videos of private individuals in an effort to help someone involved in a crisis situation, such as the aftermath of a violent event, or as part of a newsworthy event due to public interest value, and this might outweigh the safety risk to a person. So pretty much this is the out. And also, it's not really hypothetical. I mean, you have the certain cases of people that are missing and they've been missing for a couple of days to a couple of weeks. So they show their picture, they show their contact information, their name, their nicknames, any birthmarks that could identify them, the last place that they were seen, in order to find them, which is pretty much what that is pretty much saying, if I understand it correctly. We'll always try to assess the content in which content is shared, and in such cases, we may allow images or videos to remain on the service. For instance, we would take into consideration whether the image is publicly available or is being covered by, this is why I hate, mainstream or traditional media, newspapers, TV channels, online news sites, or if a particular image and accompanied by a tweet text adds value to the public discourse. and is being shared in public interest or is relevant to the community. It's kind of a gray area because I could say, let's go, Brandon, and show a picture of Joe Biden without his permission, and then that really, they could deem that that does not add any value, so they could remove it and probably put a strike on me. But I don't know if they'll go that far since he's a public figure, but I could see how that could be abused. Feeling safe on Twitter is different for everyone, and our team is constantly working to understand and address these needs. We know our work will never be done, and we will continue to invest in making our product and policy more robust and transparent to continue to earn the trust of the people using our service. No, you're going to have to start over from scratch. I'm sorry. The metaverse, Facebook, Twitter, Alphabet / Google / YouTube, you pretty much got to start over to continue to re-earn the trust of the people back. Let's see here. How long is this one? Yeah, it's pretty much the same one. Let's see here. I'll read the beginning. You may not publish or post other people's private information without their express authorization and permission. We also prohibit threat. In addition, you may not share private media, such as images or videos of private individuals, without their consent. However, we recognize there are instances where users may share images or videos of private individuals who are not public figures as part of a newsworthy event or to further public discourse on the issue on events of public. Yeah, I pretty much already read that. Let's see. Unfortunately, I'm just now reading this one because this wasn't available last time I checked it in the morning. Yeah, it's pretty much a rehash of that. Let's see. Sharing. When reporting private media, we need a first person report in order to make the determination that the image or video has been shared without their permission. We accept reports from individuals depicting that in reported media, their authorized representative, such as parent, legal guardians, lawyers, or legal representation. How can I report a violation of this policy? In-app, desktop, report tweet. Abusive or harmful includes private information. Select the type of information you're reporting on. Relevant, depending on who owns the information you're reporting on. Select up to, yeah, pretty much the same. What happens if you violate this policy? When determining the penalty of the violation of the policy, we'll consider a number of factors, including but not limited to the severity of the violation of an individual's previous record of rule of violation. Sharing private information. The first time you violate this policy by sharing private information, such as a home address, identity documents, we will require you to remove this content. We will also temporarily lock out your account before you can tweet again. If you violate this policy by posting private information again after your first warning, your account will be permanently suspended. Sharing private media. If you're in violation of this policy by sharing private media without the individual without their consent, we will require you to remove the content and temporarily lock your account while you remove the media. If you believe your account was suspended in error, you could submit an appeal. So pretty much, yeah, it's 2 strikes and you're out. I'm pretty sure that this is in the same way as the private information. Yeah, do not be doxing people. That is not cool. And I think in every state it's a crime. Don't think it's a federal crime, but yeah, don't be doxing people. I mean, you definitely dox Joe Biden because he lives in the White House, and the White House is a public building. Same thing with your governors because they live in a governor mansion, which is a public building. But if they have a private building or a private home, you really can't dox that. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Anyways, I honestly don't know what to make of some of these rules. They make a little bit more sense and they kind of clarified a few things since this morning, and they've added more information, which I'm glad that they're working on being a little bit more transparent. They just need to be more transparent. They really need to do a black and white rule book. If you do this, this is not in violation or whatever. I mean, it's the same thing with any online platform. They want to be vague enough to where you can't understand the rules, but you don't know how. What they're trying to avoid is people that are bending the rules or skirting up to the rules to avoid breaking the rules, who would normally just break the rules. So they're trying to prevent that, which I do understand, but at the same time, there's people out there that are just honestly trying to produce content, and they don't know what content they can and can't create until they break the rules, which is a shame, because I believe in ignorance of the law is no excuse, but sometimes the rules are so vague, you don't know the rules, and it's not that you're ignorant of the rules, you just don't know the rules because they're written poorly. Anyways, leave a comment down below what your thoughts are. Smash the like and the subscribe button on all and any platforms, or just the platform that you're currently on. And most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.